Alright, welcome. My name is Sarah. I am a tarot and oracle card reader, and this is my channel. And I have a reading. I've got a reading right here. So, my process, I've mentioned this in videos before, but I'm feeling to mention it again. My process with the cards is that I will sit and pull them, and then I will spend some time with them in sort of meditation or just kind of musing about them. So I pulled these cards about 3 days ago, and when I sit with the cards, when I spend time with them, I get the message through. It is not very often that when I sit in that meditation, the message is to refer directly to the book that came with the deck. That is kind of what happened in large part with these cards, and I've found myself not having that sense of like, yeah, okay, I know what this message is. I know what this is kind of about. And I've kept kind of getting the guidance, the reassurance that if I sit down and record it, it'll start to kind of come together. So I'm trusting and hoping that is what will happen. But I really fucking enjoy making these videos, so I'm having a good time anyway. The one thing that I can kind of say though is on Tuesday, Wednesday, a couple of days ago, when I first sat with them, there was this sense of it could be this or it could be that. Could be this, could be that. Like that was the kind of thing, the initial thing I kind of felt to have understood, but I used the word understood actually quite loosely. So I'm just gonna get started. It's a collective general reading. It's not date or sign specific at all. It is for anybody who vibes with it, who resonates with it. It's intended for everybody, yeah? Everybody. Okay. So I've used 2 decks, and I've used an oracle deck and I've also used a tarot deck. So the first 2 cards, these flew out. So I feel like they're a bit of a side note. They're a bit of the energies are at play, but not directly in view. So it's the Jaguar and the Sacrifice card. Now actually with these 2, I didn't need to go into the book. The message with these was very clear, and it was actually protecting the precious. That was what came through with these, protecting the precious. This being the precious and this being the protector. Okay. So I might come back to those later. So it's interesting. So I've used, that deck is the Mystical Shaman Oracle deck. I've used the Tarot du Monde Perdu as the tarot. I fucking love this. It's still quite new to me. I'm still familiarising myself with it, but it's really, really clever, beautiful tarot. I really like it. So from this, I'm going to read from this. The underlying energy was Dr. Falke, right? So he is a major arcana character, but in this deck there are 5 additional major arcana cards, and they are known as the insubordinate arcana. So Dr. Falke here, he is a character of disguise. That's his insubordination, yeah. His insubordinatory quality is one of disguise. So I am going to read from the book, not all of it necessarily because there's quite a lot, but I am going to read because it's very interesting. And I'm feeling strongly to read it, so that's that. Okay, hold him up. Disguise in the English language is a multifunctional word that plays several different parts of speech. It denotes the act of concealing one's appearance, the state of being in disguise, and the costume worn by the person in disguise. Dis is the standard Latin prefix attached to a standalone word to alter its meaning to one of lack of, not, or the opposite of, do the opposite of, or apart, away. Guise is from the French, dated back to the late 13th century as meaning style or fashion of attire. From Old French guise, meaning manner, fashion, wear, which comes from the Frankish viser, which means manner or wise, and Proto-Germanic vison, which means appearance, form, manner. And ultimately, it is believed from the Proto-Indo-European root vide, which means to see, which is credited with being the parent of diverse words. Thus is disguise tangentially related to, among others, the words clairvoyant, eidetic, druid, envy, and advice. Isn't that interesting? So that was, I hope that has been clear as I've read it out. Yeah. Okay. So that was the little intro. But the medicine, so each of these cards comes with a medicine and a poison. The medicine for this, the ones that stood out to me, were art, ornament, and wit can collaborate to cover you or your actions, to better achieve your aims, or simply to protect your privacy in an ever more surveilled environment. What predators can you outwit with style and glamour? What decoration can be innovated out of protection? Protecting the precious, right? So this energy is very pronounced. It was the underlying, which I understand underlying cards maybe have different, well, probably do have different kind of roles and meanings for different readers. For me, I often take the actual definition of the word, so underlying, something that is kind of below the surface. It's not quite apparent, it's not at the forefront, it is kind of underneath, underlying. So then in that context, it could apply in many ways, couldn't it? It could be a previous energy, it could be an outcome energy, it could be all different kinds of things, but it's not apparent. But it's really, I don't usually feel to kind of emphasize the underlying cards quite as much as I have with this. This is very important. So there could be a real need for protection, a real need to kind of protect something precious. So Dr. Falke. And then the card on the split was the same in that deck. It kind of stood out to me in the same way. So it was Dr. Falke, and then it was this Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups energy. And his message was arrival and overture, confluence and invitation, things are coming together, right? Feelings may become known, your own or another's. What you want may appear or become clear. So if something has been underlying, out of sight, under the surface, disguised, it might be a time, it might be arriving where an introduction to that which has been in disguise is kind of coming into being. Could be talking about disguised feelings, actually, couldn't it, as well? If the message of this one is feelings might become known, this one could be talking about somebody who has kind of put a bit of a mask on how they actually feel about something, feel about someone, maybe. Romance was a part of the message, the previous message that I posted last week. A good old-fashioned romance. So there could be a bit of a continuation because it's a knight, so, you know, movement onwards. It could be a continuation from that. Okay, so they are the underlying and the split card for the tarot. So I will put those to one side for now. So got off cards on my desk. Right, so the first card out with the oracle was this standstill card. So this is quite a big energy because it came out, the tarot that came out with it was Le Monde, it's the world, right? Like the world being a standstill. So it kind of brought in these really sort of big ideas of sort of planetary movements and things like that, which I think absolutely are applicable. But it was, I mean, this card, it does just talk about sort of taking a moment to pause and observing what's going on around you before movement forward resumes. It's a bit of an energy of kind of taking stock and just sitting with oneself and giving oneself kind of quietude and peace, and not letting sort of distractions in. It's like even this world card, it's, you know, he's very, very still, kind of almost like in a, what they call like a flotation tank. just having a moment. You know, there's this big emphasis on stillness and something about observation. He's got a bird. I don't know if you can really see it in the camera. There's something about having foresight in the stillness, having foresight. But the way to be able to see that, to tap into that, it's like it's imperative to be in this kind of still energy. But there was also with this, I felt like this was a bit of a kind of reassurance. I mean, right, it felt a bit like an instruction, like stand still, right? Because is something arriving on the scene as well? Is there something? I mean, this is cups, isn't it? So it could be like inner message, inner landscape, that kind of thing. Like be still, and it will come to you. But it felt a bit like an instruction, like an instructive, like stand still. Yeah, and obviously like stationary. I have notes on my laptop, by the way. This like stationary figure, like stationary planets. But the thing, so this is obviously a portal. It's an archway. It was, when I sat and meditated with it, it was as though the figure was actually moving towards this opening, this aperture, right? It's like they've been in this stillness, and when it is time to come out of the stillness, they are moving towards this particular portal. So they haven't passed through it yet. I want to say it's something that they're coming into when movement resumes. Yeah, when they've had this stillness and movement resumes, it will be to move through this particular portal. Aperture. I kept getting aperture, which is right. It's like it's an opening. It's a hole. It's a space. I think it's only when referring to cameras it talks about the amount of light something lets in. An aperture in that respect. We could apply that. Could be like an analogy, couldn't it? Taking stock, meditation images that come in meditation. Taking stock. You'll see more. It will shed light on. The stillness will shed light on something. Maybe that creates the portal. Burnt aperture. The stillness will shed light on something very brightly. It will burn. It will burn something open. And then more will just come. More will come in. It's opening up like a new channel or a new pathway. The idea of pathways has been emphasised quite a lot recently, like pathways for the movement, right? This movement. So what else did I write on the notes there? Right, so from the book, directly from the book, recognise this is the condition of the moment, right? So perhaps, I know I've been feeling restless at points recently. This kind of, feeling restless, but really there's a really strong need and desire to rest, but there's just a kind of restless energy. that even, right, so even when you're trying to be still, you're trying to kind of give yourself that stillness. There's this almost sort of incessant, oh, but I should be doing this, I should be doing that, should. So the cards then, yeah, it's an instruction: stand still. Stand still. This is the energy of the moment. Right, the energy of the moment is one of stillness. Right, also says time to relieve of an unnecessary burden that was taken on without consideration of the cost. So that could be many different things for different folks. I mean, if you've been really busy, taken on loads of stuff, and it's just sort of made you extremely tired, the stillness will relieve that burden. You rest, you relieve the tiredness. Perhaps that is applicable. I think there really is, like with the mirrors and the closed eyes, there is really something about like limiting or shutting out sort of external noise, external things. It's like, be within, reflect upon, be within, be still. And this is like dynamic movement as well, isn't it, the world? So as much as there's all that stillness, it does indicate that that cycle is coming to an end. Like, the dynamic movement is going to resume. It's like, make the most of the stillness. There's value in it. There's things to observe. There's things to observe in this. So take that time. Don't feel bad about it. Take the time. And then from the book for this one, it talks about we can be the world we want to see. Right, on a global, on a big collective one, we can be the world we want to see. And then I've written in brackets, because the world is seeing things that it does not want, which applicable hugely on a global scale, isn't it, for people? But that will translate to a personal world as well. So I mean, it might be that something hasn't quite gone the way that you had thought with something, and so there's a big old time for reflection and a kind of need to reflect on that before moving forward again. Right, if something hasn't gone how we want, it's saying, like, you can create the world you want, you can do that. Yeah, it talks about homeostasis as well, like harmonious, dynamic and fluid balance, which is, again, like I mean, this is an energy of homeostasis, isn't it? It's like a big energy of that. And it's more work to maintain that when things start to get hectic, when things start to pick up again. So it's like, enjoy this, get from this what you need, like nourish, replenish, do all that now. The time is kind of, it's like the universe is sort of giving time to do that. A better world is possible. So the next oracle card out was the rainbow. Right, and the rainbow came out with the 5 of coins. So look at, they share all these beautiful colours. Actually came out like this, right? The rainbow, 5 of coins. So I was seeing this rainbow is like the dynamic movement, right? Some dynamic movement. This isn't a state of stillness. This is movement, this is motion, whether it's energetic or physical or otherwise, but it's highlighting the coming out of this standstill energy. But it's so vibrant and gorgeous. Yeah. So it's like, right, so it comes out of this standstill where some burdens have been released here. Some burdens have been released, right? The things that cost more than anticipated, those burdens have been released in this state of standstill, or it's recommending that that is done whilst the opportunity is there to do it, right? So it's coming out of that, and I think that's why the rainbow is coming out with this 5 of Pentacles, because it's not really coming through with like lack. It was sort of coming through as this energy kind of takes off and sets in motion, how things kind of fall away, right? So it was signifying the sort of release of the burdens that might have been more costly than was anticipated, right? So it is indicating that it's something that might have cost more. But look how all the beautiful colours match. So it's like coming through, it's coming through this. Because, right, so with the 5 of coins, the message is lack of one thing can lead us to find value elsewhere, previously unappreciated or underappreciated. I initially wrote, but it was a bit of automatic writing. Underappreciated or unappreciated. So that was why I was saying, like, perhaps some things hadn't gone as intended or hadn't gone as planned. They were quite burdensome. They took more effort or more energy than perhaps anticipated when they were kind of undertaken. So there's been a need to reflect on that. And then it's kind of, right, the energy sort of picks up again. And as the energy picks up, it's picking up without those burdens. But there's something about the colour. It's like, just because we tried to do something and it didn't work out doesn't mean we stop doing the thing, right? Does it? Doesn't mean we stop doing the thing. So there might be a kind of sense of loss for the particular kind of iteration or the project, the particular thing, the particular showing of this talent or gift or whatever it was. Like a sense of loss that didn't work out, but you know, you've still got the talent, you've still got the gift, so you're moving forward with that. It's like that can't be taken away from you because you tried to do something with it and it didn't kind of work out. Such happens, right? So maybe that is what has to be understood, and that understanding just burns a fucking hole through in your awareness. You can blast through it, blast forward. Because it's like the rainbow is heading towards the corn, right? The rainbow is heading towards the corn. Let me just see if I've written anything else about the rainbow. So the idea of Magic 7 started to come in here again because of 7 colours of the rainbow. Magic 7 was in my last reading. Magic 7, I've forgotten to do it. Feck. 7 is a really, really like important number in magical systems, and it is in many sort of cultures. It has universal significance. And I did a piece of work about 3 years ago, and I did a lot of writing. I did an image, it was a 7-pointed star, and I did some research and kind of wrote it all up. It's like the symbolism of 7, and I've not read it for a while, and I meant to just have a little read over. But it spoke about like the heptonic scale, you know, the seven notes that make up the music of the universe. Obviously, like 7 ancient planets, 7 metals, 7. And then there was all this, like the geometry of 7 as well. Mildly frustrating that I've forgotten to have a look at that again. But go for it. Do your research about 7. Perhaps you already know about 7. Right, so from the book for this deck, right, the rainbow, the 7 steps of a true spiritual path. An affirmation that all is well. An affirmation that all is well, right? Regardless of whatever kind of loss could be inherent in this 5 of coins, all is well. Yeah, and that you were in a right relationship with spirit. Don't be worrying that you're doing anything wrong, basically. Yeah, the bridge between physical and spiritual worlds. And in the Himalayan tradition, the rainbow body is seen as the full realization of our essence. All right, that can never be taken away. I keep wanting to kind of hold these up. That can never be taken away. Okay. Lack of one thing can lead us to find value elsewhere, previously under or unappreciated. Right, that could just be understanding that, right? That it's your essence. It's your essence. So then oh, hang on. Getting hot. There is a red bottle in the center of this image. And when I sat with the cards, it was like, it just started glowing. It just started glowing bright red, and it didn't start shaking, but it had this this kind of charge to it. It was like it was yeah, getting like powered up or causing a power up. It's almost like it was powering up this movement of this one. Almost a bit like a battery or something. But it's red, so it was making me think of, is it Muladhara? Bad pronunciation there, Muladhara, the root chakra. It was, yeah, the motion in the rainbow card is somehow powered by the red flask. It glows brighter. and connects to the dynamism of the rainbow energy. Yeah, so because the planet associated with the Muladhara, write it down. I do usually just refer to it as the root chakra. That's interesting. I do usually refer to it as the root chakra. I've very much felt the need to so it's like Muladhara, like the actual Sanskrit name for the energy center, which is actually just a respectful thing to do. But it could be significant for other folks in some way. But Mars is actually the planet associated with that chakra, isn't he? Mars is. So I know Mars is currently retrograde in Cancer, is it? In tropical astrology. So it could be like movement of the planets. The retrograde could sort of say that's a bit of a standstill energy, and then this is the point where it kind of starts moving again. Like Mars starts getting its juices flowing again. It's like forward motion. Okay. Lack of one thing can lead us to find value elsewhere, previously unappreciated or underappreciated. So something might have ended here. Something wasn't what we thought it was, didn't work out the way we expected, hoped, wanted, whatever, something, maybe. Because the next card, the rainbow is going into the corn, which is just, it's very much a card of abundance. Very much a card of abundance. And it came out with the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Cups was very clear to me. It just communicated like seeking. That was sort of is the main message. So there's something about, and I was seeing it as going into the corn, right? So these two cards, yeah, right? So something has fallen away or something has been lost. So then the next step, the next stage is to seek, is to go seeking. But it's, this card talks about abundance. Well, it talks about sort of festivities being behind you, festivities being ahead of you. You have to kind of go seek them out, but they're there. It's quite an abundant energy, actually. Let me see. Seeking going into the corn. Yeah, a search is in progress. Preparation for the next banquet is underway. Festivity is behind you and ahead of you, but I've put ahead of you in bold. And I'm seeing it, right, it's like they're going into the corn, they're going into the corn, they're going into the abundant energy. But it was interesting with the corn, this is where the idea of a trail started coming through. Like a trail being followed, because there are bits of red in the corn, right? Chatting about the red here, and then there's all the colours of the freaking rainbow here, and the idea of like direction, lines, and then the red is kind of woven throughout the corn energy. So it started giving me these, yeah, like the vibe of a trail, like following a trail. Following a trail. Right? Something that's not kind of shown or communicated really obviously. It's disguised. And there's a trail, like that's the trail, or that's part of it, right? Something Because look how it's kind of amidst all the stalks and all the kind of growth. You have to kind of look for it. And you only know to look for the red because there's been this state of stillness. So you recognize the red. And then that's the movement as well. The movement is seeking, it's going along this trail. A search is in progress. It's like searching on these different points of the trail. And it's a trail, right? It's like you have to kind of look for the things, you have to hunt them. They're not necessarily kind of in plain sight, really obvious. Or yeah, trail. Again, go back to this Knight of Cups, like something, like an invitation, an invitation to follow the trail. Ooh, what is this? Things are coming together. If you keep following the trail, something's going to become known. Something's going to become known to the one that's following the trail about, what did I say here? About the feelings of someone else, or something about the process of doing this. They realise their own feelings about something. Okay, following the trail. Right, because the next card, this was right as well with this card, with this Eight of Cups. All these little figures just look really, they've got heart-shaped faces and they've got little smiley faces, and they just the energy of them, they kind of had their own energy in the card, and it was this really sort of friendly, quite merry energy, almost like supportive sort of spirits, almost like young small spirits, sort of sending you out into the corn. Like, you can do it, go out, go seeking. They came through as really, really supportive, lovely little characters, these guys. So the next card that came out with the, well, these are the last two cards, right? And it was the Beloved that came out with the High Priestess. So I did kind of think, ooh, beloved High Priestess, right? Because the High Priestess can be secrets and mysteries. But the red, it's like the trail is leading to the Beloved. So, right, so again, if a moment of reflection, quite a big ass moment maybe with the world and stand still, maybe just like a big moment, has had to be taken. There's some resuming of movement. Follow the trail, and it's like you're gonna get to, well, I mean, to be fair, I don't know what was previous, but this is a nice energy to be moving towards, an energy of the Beloved. And it's the red, it's like the trail's leading to this one, but you have to follow the trail. Secrets and mysteries. Contemplation and intuition will yield results. So this is why, this is another reason for this. It's why the universe is saying, like, the energy of the moment is this. Make the most of it. Make use of it. Because if you tune in, and then you pass through, you come out the other side of that, and you're just on this trail. But right, there's lots of other stuff, so you've got to know what to tune into. You've got to know how to recognize it. It's not that it's hidden. I think it's knowing how to recognize it. So contemplation and intuition will yield results, right? Contemplation and intuition will yield wisdom, knowledge. There'll be knowledge about that. Secrets ripen in silence is what, yeah, that comes out of the book. Secrets ripen in silence. Ripen in silence. Oh my God. Secrets ripen in silence. This is like a secret, mysterious energy or person or whatever that's been ripening. Look how red and juicy, eh? Look how red and juicy. They've been ripening. So it's ready, whatever this is, like, it's ready to be realized or arrived at. It's ready. Follow the trail. There's something I'm going to read, right, as well. I got directed straight to the book with this. And it is, there were 3 sections in the book. And I'm very rarely directed directly to the section where I was with this one, right? Because this can talk about all kinds of love, like love, right? Love for everything, all kinds of people. And it actually gives a bit of a, well, I suppose that's not relevant, because the bit that I was told to relay in this particular broadcast, right, accept the invitation to learn through the path of love. Expand your being through union with another. Oh, when you recognize the beloved in another, you call forth the highest and purest nature. Follow the path of love. Follow the trail. Follow the trail of love. It's going to lead to, I mean, that's probably a person, isn't it? Union with another. But secret and mystery, so that's kind of like the thing about the disguise as well, isn't it? That's the thing about the disguise, like secret and mystery. Ooh, these cards together, these feel, now I've picked them up together, there's something about them. If this is 2 people and one of them has disguised themselves and the other is true, secretive and mysterious, they might have a difficult time finding each other. Follow the trail. Be still, contemplate, intuit. That's funny. Oh, right, okay. So there was something very interesting in the book. So I'm going to read from the book a little bit. Book. And sniff. La papesse. Oh, really annoying. La papesse. High priestess. More than 2 millennia ago, a Cumaean Sibyl, the priestess who presided over the oracle of Apollo near Naples, then the 7th king of Rome. His name was, Lucius Tarquinius Superbus. It's not even made up. It was the seventh king of Rome. Cheeky 7. The Sibyl carried with her 9 books of prophecies, which she presented for sale at what Tarquinius thought an absurd price. Tarquinius laughed at the Sibyl, whom he did not take seriously, and quickly turned his attention elsewhere. The Sibyl did not budge from her position facing the king, called for a brazier, burned 3 of the books, and then offered the remaining 6 books again. For the same price, and again Tarquinius declined. The Sibyl then rekindled the flames, burned 3 more of the books, and offered the remaining 3 books again for the same price. An augur taking the auspices at that point at last intervened and informed Tarquinius that Rome's Pax Fortuna and Salus would very much benefit from ready access to the Sibylline books, and instructed Tarquinius to purchase the remaining 3rd portion of the knowledge he had been offered, whilst he still could, because even that salvage of the original treasure was a wise purchase. Salvage of the original treasure. Follow the trail. What's yours can't be taken away. Your essence, baby, can't be taken away. That's important, is that? Because even that salvage of the original treasure was a wise purchase. Okay. Message from her before we go, yeah? The Sibyl of the drowned world knows that wisdom will often not be immediately recognised or valued. Lack of one thing can lead us to find value elsewhere, previously unappreciated or underappreciated, right? Oy. Has something been missed because it wasn't apparent? Ooh, excuse me. So the universe, circumstances, the vibe of the moment is offering an opportunity to sort of see and understand that, so you can follow the trail towards it. I mean, if it's a person, not seeing the value in somebody, undervaluing somebody isn't well, you know, it's not the same as not appreciating exactly how comfortable your new sweatshirt is it? Do you know what I mean? It's just kind of undervaluing a person is potentially a bit of a harder thing to rectify, to make up for. So the Sibyl of the drowned world knows that wisdom will often not be immediately recognised or valued. Persuasion, strategy and perseverance are required to reveal the truth to those who are ready for it. And even so, many will still ignore or suppress it, or turn away overwhelmed in fear or panic. Protecting the precious. Protecting the precious. So both of these energies Well, this thing, man, right? She was offering, so the Sibyl was offering the precious, wasn't she? She was offering the knowledge to the king, who kept denying and kept rejecting the knowledge. So she would burn the books. She knew the value of them. She knew the value of them. And she's got that. That's part of her, isn't it? That's part of her. That knowledge is part of her. She was offering it. So she can burn those books. She doesn't lose the knowledge. But who she's offering it to loses that, right? So really, she's a precious. She's a precious because she's coming out here with this beloved. She's a precious. But the disguise is kind of protecting this one as well. Protecting the precious. I don't know whether like somebody or something has been disguised to serve a purpose, right? Maybe to protect somebody or to protect something that they're moving towards, to protect some kind of venture or revelation. They've disguised it to protect it. They're protecting the precious, right? They're protecting themselves, but they're also protecting something that they care for and want to move towards. Protecting the precious. So something about this is becoming known. I'm going to say that. I think something about this is becoming known. Something revealed. Some of the disguise kind of falling away. Because this one's with the knight, I feel like this one is following the trail. This is the one following the trail. So on the trail, some of the disguise starts to kind of come away, perhaps. I don't really know. I'm going to leave it there. There's lots of information. So, you know, if I haven't cohesively kind of pulled it together and presented it in a way that makes sense or whatever, go for it yourself, man. See if you can find things amidst what I've said. Okay, bless. Nice one. Take care. Bye-bye.